All right, how's it going? This is Lawrence from the Performance Ranch, and we're gonna introduce a morning mobility and stability routine to you. So we're gonna have Coach Maya here go through the movements. I'm gonna coach her through this. But really the importance of this is when you wake up first thing in the morning, you're generally pretty tight. You're stiff, your muscles are tight. Anyways, if you're like me, when I wake up, my ankles are super stiff, my hips are super stiff, shoulders and my neck. I'm a back sleeper, so I pretty much stay in the same position all night long. But laying on my back, my toes do point out, so my ankles do get stiff. I've had ankle issues for 25 years now, so it's been forever. I've had my ankles from being sprained all the time as a young athlete to continually training on them every day as far as riding my bike and walking and things like that. So I get these stiffnesses that occur. So I just have known when I wake up, these are things that I typically do. So we're gonna have Maya here go through some of the movements. So if you're like most of us, wake up, brush our teeth. That's usually the very first thing that I do, right? So as I'm standing at the sink, I literally get my feet and I try to create an arch in my feet. And I spread out my toes and I put them through the ground. And then all I'm gonna do is have her drive her knees forward. So just a little ankle rock, kind of drive forward and come right back. And just do that probably about 5 to 10 times or so. All we're working on here is ankle dorsiflexion. So let's actually go ahead and face me. We'll do the same exact thing. So create that arch, drive your knees forward. So what we want to see is the knees tracking over the toes, stretching out those ankles there. So she has really good range of motion in those ankles, which is awesome. Again, goal is to keep the heel down, drive the knees forward. So very simple, easy little movement. Another little simple movement we do, going and face the camera here, is we're just gonna go up. Again, we're thinking about what our movable joints are, our mobility joints. And we have other video series and articles talking about this as far as our joint by joint approach. So we're looking at ankles, we're looking at hips, looking at thoracic spine, neck, and shoulder. So these are all things we try to get moving first thing. So the next thing we're gonna do is hips. And the way we're gonna do that, again, like we talked about, get that neutral pelvis, so it's gonna be parallel to the ground. And all I'm gonna have you do is just shift your hips to the left and then shift your hips to the right. You can even bend your knee as you do it. So it's gonna push, side to side. So we're just getting this lateral hip shift. You feel a little stretch on the outside? Good, perfect. So, you know, she is human here. She does have really good range of motion. In previous videos you've seen, she moves very well. So we're just making sure that she got that pattern. So after the lateral hip shift, we're now gonna work into hip rotations or hip circles. So the way I like to work on that is, just kind of moving around. You can even bend your knees a little bit as you cycle through that pattern. Again, think about pelvis tilted forward. As you come forward, there you go. Now switch sides. Again, 5 reps or so on each side. Again, simple little movements to do hip shift, hip circles. After she's done there, we're gonna move into the thoracic spine now. So again, we're thinking about movable joints, right? It's ankles, hips, T-spine now, so I want you to work on posture, tuck your pelvis under you a little bit, and all we're gonna do here, again, this is a simple little movement, you just kind of lean your shoulders side to side, you're just gonna stretch out that upper back, try not to move from the center, you're moving right from here, there you go. Good, and let's actually have you turn that direction so we can show them from the back. So we're looking at, she's trying to move just from her thoracic spine, not by lifting her shoulders, but by tilting through the T-spine. There you go. Good, so something simple, and then the other one we're gonna have you do now is the circle. So do the same exact thing, it looks like this. Gonna kind of move around, circle around. Again, just think about, that's your base point right here. You're just gonna circle around that. Good, so she's getting some flexion, extension, lateral flexion on both sides. You can go and turn and face. Good, so you can just see very simple little movement. Again, it's not meant to be painful. It's not meant to be very challenging. It's just meant to get the spine moving, get some blood flow. You're gonna try to feel that kind of move around a little bit. Next joint, we go ankles, hips, T-spine. Now we're going into neck. Same thing, lateral flexion. It's gonna go ear to shoulder, keeping that chin tucked in. There you go. I'm going to look straight ahead and go and bring the ear straight down to the shoulder. There you go. Same thing other side. Good. It feels a little tighter going your left, huh? Yeah, you can see it a little stuck in there. Yeah. You ever get tightness there in the back of the neck? Oh, 3 steps. Okay, so let's watch out with this, okay? I'm sorry, I should have asked you that before. As we do this, I want you to go very delicate and just go kind of into circles there. How's that feel? Good. Good. And the same thing to the other side. Again, for those of you that have to sit at a desk, look at a screen, which, you know, I'm one of those guys. When that happens, you know, that neck gets pretty stiff. So we're trying to get some movement in there. This is something I even do as I'm sitting down, or I have a standing desk in my house too, so I'll actually do that, kind of move around my neck, and just because that thing just gets super tight over time. The next movable joint is shoulders. So we're gonna go arms out to the side. We're just gonna do Egyptian. So I like to just go look at my palm. I'm gonna look to my right palm. I'm gonna turn over my left shoulder. Good, and then going to switch sides. And you sort of getting a little internal, external rotation into the shoulder joint and going to switch sides. And she's gonna turn, yep. There you go, how's that feel in the shoulders there? Good. So again, we're taking the shoulders through its full range of motion with that lateral pattern there, good. So as we work on the shoulder, the next thing we like to do with the shoulders is now try to get some activation going on. You know, since you are a fighter, you know, you have that posture where you're kind of like this a lot, right? So these shoulders do want to round forward. And again, a lot of people at home, you know, we sit at a desk, we're gonna type out a lot. So our shoulders do round forward to get tightness into our back. So we're gonna start to activate these muscles. So first thing I want you to do is put your hands behind your head. I call these prisoners. So we're gonna get nice and tall, tuck the pelvis under you. Good, and all we're gonna do here is gonna take those hands, we're gonna overlap one on top of the other. You're just gonna pull the hands away from you. And as you do this, you're gonna take your hands out to the side and then bring it behind you with the palms facing the opposite direction. Good. So we'll show it from the front and then we'll do it from the back side. Good. There you go, it's going to turn around, face that direction. Same exact thing, so you notice she's gonna overlap her hands, they're away from her head is stacked. Now go ahead and come all the way across, and then hands behind. So we're trying to keep these retracted the whole time through her shoulder blades into her thoracic spine. Good, and then she's also working on mobility through the shoulder joint itself. Perfect, that's it. So simple little standing routine, right? This is the first thing I do. It takes 2 minutes or so just to kind of get my shoulders, get my whole body feeling good. And then that leads into the next thing. So I go downstairs, meditate, do some things like that, really work on more of my breathing than anything else, 10 minutes of that. But then once I'm done with that, it leads right into actually working on some ground-based stuff. So as we do the ground-based work, we're just gonna move down to the ground. I'll actually grab a mat out. Right, so we're coming to you for more of our meditative posture. So after we go through the breathing mechanics, work on the breathing here, you start from the ground, right? So everything, where we generate our strength from, from the ground. So we're in air, you're not gonna be able to have a lot of pack on your punch, right? So I mean, obviously you push off the ground to get there, but if you're in the air trying to throw a punch, there's nothing to get strong from. So we're gonna teach you how to get strong and set tension through the ground. Of course, we got a little Roxy dog here, wants to get pet, which is fine. So the first thing we're gonna start off with, since we've already done our standing mobility, we're now gonna work into some ground-based mobility. First thing I like to do is just a child's pose. We're just gonna get your knees a little wider than hip width. You're gonna drop your hips inside your feet, and you're just gonna reach those hands down in front of you there. There you go. So again, looking at trying to get some length in the lats here, length in the triceps, length in the fingertips. Good, let's go ahead and round your back, tuck your pelvis under you now, kind of get in that little posture. Good, it's going to get down to all fours. So from the all fours position, we're gonna work on what I refer to as a kneeling mountain climber. So you're gonna go here, gonna kind of step forward, get that foot on the outside of your hand, there you go, and just kind of try to get your pelvis, we're gonna try to tuck your pelvis back. So you're actually going to flatten your back out by sticking your hips back. Nope, so I'm gonna stay here, sorry, like this. Try to just tuck your pelvis back, like you're hinging, there you go. You're gonna feel a big stretch in that front leg now. Good, go ahead and switch sides. So we'll do about 2 or 3 reps on each side. You can tuck the pelvis back. So now you're feeling length in the hamstring, good. And we're also working on that posture of the spine. Good, and remember, tuck it under you, the other way. I wanna tilt it forward, like this. Yes, like that. Good, switch. So again, she's having trouble getting, so this leg is fine. It looks like she's able to get there. That left leg though, looks like there's a little hiccup in that left hip. How does that feel on that left side? There you go. Tighter?
Yeah.
A little more restricted, yep.
Definitely.
Good.
Feel more in my hamstring.
Yeah. So when you kick, do you kick more with your right foot?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can tell, right? So she has a lot more range in that right leg, which would make sense, but that's why we do both sides, to really try to get equal on both sides. So from there, we go into our little downward dog, just to kind of get those ankles and feet kind of lengthened out, and then the shoulders as well. So we're gonna have her go up, drop back into that pattern. Good. And she has really good range of motion here, so not too much of a concern. But for guys like me, we have to, you know, my heels are a little higher, so I'll actually pump my heels through the ground to get a little stretch in there. Yep. Again, these aren't very lengthy stretches, maybe 5 to 10 reps or so. We're not really staying there too long. Going to come down to all fours again. So that's our little ground-based mobility that we do for the hips, for the spine, the shoulders, trying to get things moving. Now we're gonna work on just getting strong, and this is really quick. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna lie flat on your back here with your feet, with your knees bent, feet underneath your knees. Perfect. So we've worked on breathing already. We're gonna continue the breathing pattern, working on pulling the shoulders down and back away from the ears. Just taking a deep breath through your nose. I want you to fill your rib cage up, and then as you breathe out, force the air out, try to flatten your back out. So you're trying to actually gain strength from the ground as you push your belly straight down. Good. So try to do that without moving your pelvis. There you go. So you see that we made her neutralize her pelvis and not let it tilt. You feel that really deep in the core there? Perfect. So as she does this, we'll do about 5 breaths or so. After that, we're gonna keep the breath pattern up, but now we're gonna do a floor bridge. And the way the floor bridge is gonna work, you're gonna load up the weight through your feet. You're gonna try to drive your belly button and belt buckle straight up, tucking your pelvis under you. Good, and then breathe in, come down. Good, breathe out, you're gonna go up. Perfect, driving those hips. Again, just about 5 reps or so. Trying to make it super simple, super easy to do, but remember to breathe out and really force your hips into extension. You feel a stretch on the top as well, good. Let's do that 2 more times. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna activate the muscles around the pelvis, because that's usually our weak point, is the pelvis itself, so we're really trying to strengthen that up. So glutes are first. Then we're gonna move you over to all fours, hands and knees. We're gonna do a bird dog next. So bird dog pattern is just on all fours. Just go knees directly underneath your hips, hands directly underneath your shoulders, back is nice and flat, and we're just gonna extend your opposite arm and opposite leg. As we extend, we're gonna kick it straight back, trying to keep your pelvis neutral, kick your heel back to the wall, reach your fingertips to that wall, good. So now we're thinking about extension, going to switch sides. Good, keep that hip down, right there. Good, and switch. Just do that about 3 times on each side. Again, we're thinking of the pelvis in a 360-degree pattern and form here as far as strengthening goes. So we're really trying to stay neutral pelvis, working all the musculature that's attached to the pelvis, and that's our main strong point is the pelvis itself, where the core training starts. Good. And that's good. Now from there, we're gonna go on your side, and we're just gonna do a little side plank, okay? We're gonna do it with your knees bent. So the way we do the side plank, we're gonna get her aligned between her knees, her hips, her shoulders, and her ears are all gonna be in one straight line. So as you come up, I want you to tuck your pelvis under you and drive your hips forward. There you go, even more. Really think about extension, good. And we're gonna lift up your pelvis a little bit more. Now I want you to really squeeze the butt to drive your hips forward. There it is. Head back a little bit. So this is basically a side bridge, or if she was on her back, it'd be like a floor bridge. Good. Go ahead and come down. I want you to do this again, but just tuck this elbow underneath a little bit more. Perfect. Ready? Up again. So now we're looking at making sure everything's stacked and straight. Pelvis is forward. She's working on breathing. How'd that feel on that side?
A lot better with my...
Good. So let's go ahead and go up there and hold it a little longer now. Good, I'll put you in a timer for 15 seconds. So really just think about breathing. You can see she's getting complete extension now from the side. Good. Let's have you go ahead and flip over to their side now. So now we're gonna come up to the other side. We're gonna get that pelvis to tilt forward a little bit more. So we're looking at a straight line between the ear, the shoulder, the hip, and the knee. Pulling those abs in nice and tight, working on breathing. Okay, this probably feels a little more challenging than a normal plank, right? A lot of times when we get into planks, our typical pattern is we want to get our butt back. This is what we usually do, right? So we're relying on our upper body to hold us up. Now push your pelvis forward and drive, pull that core in. Now she's relying on her core musculature, the obliques, the TFL, everything that's attached to the hips to really hold you up. Go ahead and rest now. Good. So how did that feel comparative to other core exercises that you've done as far as planks go?
It feels more challenging for me.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit more full body than
full body, yeah.
The shoulder.
Exactly.
You know?
And most people, when they do this, they rather go into the hardest position, right, which is leg straight. So let's have you try that real quick just to kind of show what most people do. And again, look how hard it can actually be by tucking your pelvis under you a little bit more, pulling that core in, and then thinking about breathing. There we go. So now she's in complete straight line. Probably super challenging now. Go ahead and rest. So we did have a core video on this whole thing as well. So check that out. You can kind of see how to master this pattern here. This is a very challenging pattern, but for a morning routine, super easy to do. Again, I call it Rotisserie Core, right? You're going back, you're going sides, you're going front. So we're trying to move all around. Super easy to do, maybe 10 reps of so on each side. Spend about 5 minutes there and just see how it goes, all right?